All right, here we go. The Expert Show coming at you on a Tuesday night tonight. It's Birdman here with my compadre, Joey McCheese, Double Grill. What's going on, brother?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Peachy Keen, Jelly Bean.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just a couple America's sweethearts here to give it to you.
Wow.
Give it to you live. That's what Mark Halpern calls
Is that a Halpern?
him and his compadres.
Okay. Stealing it.
Two-way. Yeah, I'm starting to get into that show. It's pretty interesting. It's good stuff. I don't know. I think I'm discovering some things about him though that I might not really like.
Oh.
Yeah, I think he's tries to come off as that he's
Middle of the road.
not affiliated, but I'm not so sure. But hey, anyway,
He lives in Washington, right?
right.
Okay.
Right. He's been around a long time.
I think that's enough said.
Yeah. But, we got a good show for you guys tonight. We talk a little bit about, I guess, Kamala and the coach. Kamala and the coach are finally going to do a little sit-down interview with CNN coming up here. I think it's on Thursday night.
Oh, I didn't even hear about it, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're doing it with CNN and Dana Bash. It's going to be the interviewer. So
That's a great name if you're in like a chick playing bass in a metal band.
Yeah.
Dana Bash.
Dana
Yeah,
Bash.
she doesn't really look like that, though.
Kind of rhymes with gash, which is
Whoa, hey.
Whoa.
Like if you cut yourself or something, right? Yeah. Rhymes with ass, too.
A lot of gory slits, but we don't want to get...
It rhymes with a lot of things, actually.
Things.
It's very cash, smash, trash.
But, so they're gonna do it up with Dana Bash. But some questions about we got a lot of questions about Kamala and the coach. One that definitely seems to be coming up lately, especially with the anniversary of our debacled escape
From Afghanistan.
They basically just totally shit the bed.
People hanging off planes and shit.
Yeah,
that was some madness, dude.
Just couldn't think could something be botched any worse. I mean, we were there for how many years, and we can't even just get out without people hanging off a plane. I mean, I think the whole world saw that, and then
we definitely
shortly after that,
we didn't get our
a lot of countries got invaded.
Our deposit back on that one. I think actually we left a lot there. So I guess
they're armed with all the
they got it all
that we had. And
they've got tons of it. They didn't have an air force prior to that, from what I understand. Now they're.
I mean, why we would even think that any of those people would stay and fight the Taliban when they were losing to them to begin with? The only reason they had a government is because we propped it up.
Yeah.
And all those people were on the U.S. payroll, and as soon as the checks weren't getting cash,
it's
right?
we'll see.
They're like, "What the hell are we fighting? I'm out of here." You know what I mean?
Let's see if the Taliban's hiring. What's going on? You guys
they're on the first flight out of there. Weeks ago.
On the first wheel out of there.
Yeah.
Until they plummeted to their death.
Yeah.
God, that's horrible.
Whoever had some money, Karzai. Where the hell is that guy? Where he absconded somewhere, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he was gone. He took a bunch of cash and was gone into you don't abscond anymore. You go into exile.
Yeah, exile.
He was exiled from his country.
Yeah,
we were like,
absconding has more of the money feel to it. Or
well, he definitely absconded, but when you're a leader of a country, you go to exile.
Yeah,
you
like
don't.
Napoleon, he exiled himself.
Yeah, but he took a bunch of cash with him at the same time.
So,
kind of put yourself where nobody can get to you. And the government's like, okay, you can live in any number of places. I think depending on how bad you ran away, your choices go down a little bit. You know what I mean? I
feel like all the money that we gave that guy, he needs to answer some questions about this shit. But nobody ever tried to find him or ask him. Or
what's he gonna say? He's gonna say,
how did you shit the bed this bad? You couldn't have just.
He probably told him. If we didn't go after the money, at some point he was probably like, look, if you guys pull out, I'm bailing. Like that behind the scenes, he was probably, because then they're later, they're like, well, we didn't know he was going to leave. They knew exactly what was going to happen, dude. There's no way that we were like, there was no way. He knew exactly what was going down. He planned on leaving. He probably told his handler, he was like, dude, I'm freaking out of here.
And there's just no way that we're that stupid. We know these people don't give a shit.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
It was a total puppet government that they're just cashing the checks until the U.S. checks aren't clearing.
Yeah, he pissed off so many people
they're out of there,
by doing what we wanted that he had no choice, man. He had to go. He was like, look.
No, I don't blame any of them, to be honest. They knew they were going to be murdered if they stuck around.
Sure.
No doubt about it. You had to get out of there. But we had to know that. But anyway, so that was the beginning of the Biden-Harris Commander In Chief team. You know what I mean? That's led us into now, of course, Russia invaded Ukraine. We have all this, this freaking
Gaza Strip
the
stuff?
Gaza Strip cookout.
Oh,
The Gaza cookout, as Tim Dillon refers to it as. So there's a lot of questions about her as a commander in chief, among all other things, but we're kind of going to focus on that tonight. But we have a former Green Beret here, Scott Mann, I believe, talking about how warnings of October 7th type attack on possibly here in the U.S.
And there's been others
From Hezbollah.
I think it was,
or another terrorist organization.
Laura Logan came out and said that there's like already 20,000 people here. So supposedly, like, the idea is that all these people that come across our border are now meeting up here and they're buying guns. And I don't know what they're going to be able to do. I mean, can they take over our whole country from the inside? That'd be interesting. I mean, like, if they take over a town, that's not going to last. Anyway, I don't know what kind of...
But they certainly can raise some hell, right?
Sure, sure. I mean, it could be bad to be at the mall.
Yeah. Is there anybody at the mall anymore?
They'll be the only ones.
Probably not a place to have a terrorist attack anymore. Like, you killed 4 people and a bum.
They'll get to the mall and they'll be like, oh, damn it, Amazon.
God. Even the Apple store is
we
closed.
got nobody to shoot. We got to go to people's houses and get them on the computer.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, we're post pandemic. We're used to sitting at home now. We're like, whatever, dude. I don't go to malls or baseball games and shit.
Something like that. But let's check out this interview here with Scott Mann.
Imminent attack on Israel. Former Green Beret, Lieutenant Colonel Scott Mann, and our friend joins us now in studio. Colonel, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Just first, your reaction to Israel's preemptive strike against Hezbollah.
The first thing I thought about when I saw that is that we had better start paying attention here at home. What happened on October 7 is not an anomaly. It's gonna hit us here at home. In fact, a lot of the veterans groups who are warning about an attack are saying that the next attack that hits the homeland is not going to be a World Trade Center type attack. It's going to be more of an October 7 style, Russian theater style attack where we live, work, and play. So I hope we're paying close attention to this.
Wow, I mean, you're talking, we've let in millions and millions of people. We have no idea who we are. We're vulnerable.
Yeah, we are. And ironically, the attackers that we're probably going to see do that have trained in the very NATO bases that we lived and operated in for 20 years in Afghanistan.
Well, that's convenient.
Well,
we
let's
should
turn
know
to that
their
topic
training.
of Afghanistan, because tomorrow's the 3-year anniversary of that terrible day at Abbey Gate. You were in the middle of almost every aspect of that. You knew a lot of people on the ground.
Yeah, we know
Just
our
reflect,
institutions are slack too. I mean,
my
Thomas
heart goes
Crooks
out
on a
to all the
roof,
families of the 13 fallen. We did a play called Last Out where we
Yep.
toured the country right after it happened, and I met with so many of the family members, and I know they're hurting right now, and I know so many of their teammates are hurting right now. So that's my first thing. The other thing that I would say, though, is that we've really got to pay attention to what happened there, because the same way that suicide bomber followed our troops into Abbey Gate as they tried to leave, Afghanistan has followed us home. We may be done with Afghanistan, but it's not done with us. And what the veterans are trying to tell Americans and our politicians right now who don't seem to want to listen is that the enemy has a vote, and they are still operating out of Afghanistan, and they very much intend to hit us here.
Explain that a little bit more. What do you mean by that, Afghanistan following us home?
Well, remember that the guys and girls that picked up the phone when we abandoned Afghanistan 3 years ago and the government didn't were veterans who had worked with intelligence professionals and special operators out of Afghanistan. We never hung up the phone. We paid for safe houses, medical supplies, food drops. And these individuals that we trained to collect information have continued to give us information about what's coming. And what they're telling us is there's 20-plus terror groups in Afghanistan. Daughter, Zawahiri's daughter.
That's an unholy marriage right there.
And Haqqani's daughter. And it's coming our way. In fact, we think they're late-stage preparation right now, and we're hearing it from some very vetted sources who, frankly, don't trust our government to give them that information because of the way they left them.
So it's not just the equipment we left behind and the money they still have. It's a regathering effect in Afghanistan.
In my assessment,
we pissed them off.
And I know I'm not alone in this, in the veteran community, the dashboard is more than blinking red. It is smoke coming off of it right now in a much more
like pre-9/11 levels, you're saying?
Bigger than pre-9/11. There are more fighters in
You
Al-Qaeda,
don't feel that anywhere in the
than there
country
were.
right now. That's an
No,
issue.
the country is now.
We're just twerking with joy.
We're having a street party.
He's issuing passports right now. He's the guy that issues travel documents. So they're here licit as well as illicit. And the fact that our government has given $80 million of taxpayer money every 10 days to the Taliban, I mean, it's almost, you have to ask yourself, what planet am I on right now at this 3-year anniversary?
That is all staggering stuff, much of which I didn't know. But we're in the middle of a political campaign right now.
We are.
Kamala Harris.
So did anyone tell the Taliban that?
More, maybe not.
Yeah.
But when she was asked about it in April 2021.
Please, can you wait till the campaign's over?
Biden, that he wants you to be the last person in
Busy
that room,
right now.
particularly for big decisions, just as he was for President Obama. He just made a really big decision, Afghanistan.
Yes.
There's Dana
Were you the
Bash.
last
Yes.
Yes. And you feel comfortable?
I do.
She's good with
Feels
it.
comfortable. What would you say to her?
I would say that when we were running Operation Pineapple Express, one of her military advisors contacted
Really?
Pineapple Express, contacted me, and asked us to get one of their favorite Afghans out of Afghanistan. This was the special advisor to the Vice President of the United States, asked a volunteer group of veterans to get an Afghan out.
Did Kamala
But you
name
tell me
that?
how you can feel comfortable with that. And
Whoa.
this is the
Did you
impact
hear
this
that?
has had on veterans all over
Her
the country.
elite chief
these
administrator
veterans defended America for 20 years.
called
they did
these,
what they
'cause,
were asked
some
to
of
do.
these, like,
and then they were
the guys that were helping people out of Afghanistan, these ex-military guys that were running like, I think Glenn Beck had something to do with some of them. He was like paying for planes and shit. He just said that someone from her team called someone that was getting these people out and asked to get somebody out of Afghanistan instead of talking to the vice president about it. What? Like, you work for the vice president and you can't be like, hey, I don't know. I'm sorry. If I had that, if my boss wouldn't do that for me, I'd be like, look, I'm going to find another job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's
put in a
crazy.
position where they had to answer the phone and stand up for allies that our government wouldn't stand up for. And the moral injury that has caused, the level of suicide and impact, this is not a Republican or Democrat issue. This is an American issue. And Global War on Terror veterans, Pete, are trying to warn the American people and our politicians that it is coming, and it's going to come out of the very place that it started. And I hope we're listening.
You've said it right.
But we're way too worried about, climate change and just being joyful.
Well, my first question when I see like people that just go on
Important
Fox is like, is this actually like somebody who cares? Is what he's saying true? Is he someone getting paid by a 3-letter agency to come on and fearmonger or whatever, right? So, but this guy seems pretty legit. Like, he's part of these, like, first of all, he didn't have anything nice to say about the government, which is generally not Operation Mockingbird. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, the establishment definitely just wanted to forget that whole Afghanistan
they did.
situation went down.
Yeah, that
For
was
sure. It seemed like they've been sweeping that one under the rug.
they brought out the Swiffer for that
Yeah.
one. They were like, yeah.
And this was just the 3-year anniversary of it, and the president's nowhere to be found.
No.
He's off on another vacation.
He's laying on the beach in Delaware.
Yeah, he went to Delaware right after he came back from California. I think he took off. He didn't, he did this one late night ramble at the
good.
DNC, and then like because nobody wanted him around, he just fucked off to California.
Yeah, they were like,
rest of the
see you
week.
later, but Joe, thanks.
Yeah, you're the best ever. You should be on Mount Rushmore. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, your
Bye.
biggest accomplishment was that you left.
Yeah, we're so happy that you quit.
Yeah, you were really bad.
incredible.
And he's like,
What a patriot, you know what I mean? Like, he's just like George Washington. What was
Dude.
that you're
Yeah.
talking about? That he left under it. He didn't have to do that.
dude,
but,
the rhetoric is so
democracy.
over the top with a
He
lot of these
stepped
lefties.
down.
It's like, I mean, they almost try to outdo each other.
Yeah.
When you see like 3 on, they'll bring like a panel of lefties on, like
It's
MSNBC.
just so absurd. Like,
It
I mean,
is.
are you guys just... Is this like a game you guys
Yeah,
are playing? Like,
I think it is.
who could just out bullshit the other one
Yeah.
and like, oh wow, that's
Yeah.
really over the top.
It's like an acting
Yeah.
gig. It's like, who can say
you
this?
think you're gratuitous? I'll show you.
He's like, Biden has golden testicles. And you're like, what? Golden testicles? You're like, yeah. And he rides a unicorn around the beach in Delaware. It's amazing. It's one of the most
does.
amazing things.
He does.
That's why he does the bike. He practices for the unicorn, and he never falls off. It's fantastic.
It's in incredible shape. You know what I mean?
is,
Like, the
dude.
guy could run a marathon right now.
He looks like
he
Robert De Niro,
he
Fear.
could easily play 36 holes of golf walking, mind you.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
carrying the bag.
Sure.
Yeah, he carries his own bag for sure.
Caddies himself. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's just he's in incredible shape. He's an incredible man, one of the best presidents ever.
Actually, he'll carry your bag, too. He'll carry 2 bags
no,
while
he's-
you play. He's a
badass.
yeah.
Do you know he fought off a whole a gang with the chain?
Yeah.
like a whole gang.
Yeah.
And corn pop and stuff
With razors.
with razors and stuff.
With
Yeah, so-
rusty razors.
I mean, there's nothing this guy can't do.
He's pretty amazing.
He's like
Drives a truck.
Yeah, he's like Rambo, man.
Yeah.
Might as well be in a tank like Dukakis. He's that bad. But yeah, so
Actually,
wow, man.
he was in the tank.
Yeah.
He's got a couple people in the Bidens that are in the tank, too.
I mean, I don't know. Just so that's what we're looking at right now. So we're all focused on the joy and the twerking and stuff. But I mean, we got to remember who's in office right now.
And it sounds pretty serious because there is a
and-
lot of people in this country, right? Not really supposed to be here. We don't know who they are. Everybody's sneaking across the border. Seems to me like there's a large potential because there isn't. I was talking earlier about an end game. There really isn't an end game with Muslim extremists. Their end game is I'm going to die and go to heaven. So
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter how many you kill.
I saw some image of a Afghani fighter, Taliban fighter, that he had a full on like a cement concrete block
you told
over
me about this.
his piece, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like a cod piece, like cement cod piece.
Cement cod piece.
And that was so, you know, even if he dies, he's still going to get to bang the 72 virgins.
That sounds like something
in the afterlife. So, I mean, I don't care if I get blown up as long as my piece.
Yeah, it's still there.
Makes it.
I mean, it's just going to be a dick by itself running around
Right,
heaven,
right.
I guess.
I mean, even though my arms and head is blown off, but you know, this cock is gonna get smacked.
That sounds like something that like somebody from Guar would be wearing,
Yeah,
right? I got
like,
my concrete
yeah.
codpiece, just a chunk of concrete out there. It's like
Sick, man.
Yeah,
but you know, but you're right. That's the extent. That's
Yeah, I
those
mean-
are the kind of people.
but look, dude, they don't really have a lot to look forward to. They're not like going bowling on like Sunday nights.
That's how they grew up, man.
Yeah,
The coolest people in town were the martyrs. Like,
Sure,
that's,
but
like, that's all you had to.
whoever has a codpiece,
Yeah.
like
And no, they weren't getting any, you know, any action. The only thing to look forward to is the action in the afterlife, right?
right,
Like,
because
you know,
this is a shitty life. You're in the desert. You're not part of any like, you know, rich family.
Yeah.
You're probably every day is like, as I don't know that they're steady jobs. You know, I think for some people in the cities it probably exists and it gets pretty close to our life here. But I think if you're anywhere outside of that, you know,
yeah.
you're. It's not like West Virginia where you still got satellite and shit.
Yeah, there's obviously some serious reasons why these people would be talked into that sort of thing, and,
Sure.
and it has to be pretty bad.
Yeah,
you know,
and they're
to-
like, well, this is what I
to
got
go with
going
that,
on
right?
here, man.
Yeah.
Let's check out the 27 virgins. Or is it 72? I mean,
I think I think it's 72, but
It's a lot of virgins, man.
There's a good amount of quite a few virgins.
I don't know that I can handle that. That would be a lot.
And like virgins aren't. Do you really want that
Yeah,
many
they be
virgins?
complaining and shit. Dude.
they're not really
Like
that
crying or something.
I don't know. But anyway, we
Sorry about
digress.
that, yeah.
Sorry about that. So we got our my man. You know, I'm gonna cut into the two-way thing right now. My man on Mark Halperin. This is this is after we're moving into this anniversary of this Afghan withdrawal, what we want to call it. And Harris has come out with a new little TV spot of how she, you know, this is her message about how she's going to be a strong commander in chief. This is her with the armed forces, because we don't really know much about her
No, she was
interaction
a-
with the armed
sure.
forces, or if she
She wasn't
even
in the
does,
military,
or-
right? So-
Yeah, if she's even been a party to any of those decisions, or you know,
Well, she
so-
did say she was cool with the withdrawal. They played that clip.
Yeah,
on that thing.
yeah.
So
And she was like,
but
"I'm fine with it." Right?
She hasn't really, honestly, she hasn't really talked on anything.
Yeah, so we really don't know anything.
We don't know anything about her, dude.
But this is what the Harris K Hive gave us this week. So
Was that the K Hive?
make of it what you will, and we'll let Mark take it away.
Had a female commander in chief, and this is a relatively young person with relatively little national security experience. And we'll talk about that as a factor in this race. J.D. Vance is at a fundraiser in Kentucky today. Doug Emhoff is doing fundraising in New York. Elizabeth Warren is campaigning for Harris Waltz in Wisconsin. And I
feel like Halpern should play hockey.
today, but
Yeah, good name for hockey, Halpern.
So talk first
Yeah,
about national
sounds
security.
good.
Vice President Harris has a bar to clear. I'm surprised how little discussion there's been about this. She mentioned national security at some length, given the other topics not discussed in her acceptance speech at the convention. This morning, she and President Biden put out matching statements, naming all 13 service members who lost their lives, talking about her appreciation for their service, and about defending the decision to withdraw from Afghanistan. We put up that statement if we can, just to show you the.
This is what she thinks going to bring it home for her.
This is like her being like a wartime,
Yeah,
like ready to go.
it's showing strength. Yeah, son.
Was that music coming out of the helicopter? she got a system in there.
Yeah, they make sure all.
Look how diverse that is.
We're gonna outfit all our helicopters with the best, the biggest woofers you've ever seen in your life. Everybody's gonna have bass like you would not believe.
We're gonna party him out of existence. I'm surprised.
We're gonna jam everywhere we go.
That's horrible, dude. But I think I'm surprised.
As one of her supporters said on Twitter, or something less than that.
Yeah. Be nice, Sean.
So I'll start
trying
with
to pull
it. I think
himself
if you're
together.
a supporter of hers, you think it's badass. I get why they think that. I think that they are awaking a sleeping giant that is not smart. I get why politically you want to lean into sometimes your negative or your weaknesses. I think considering the Tim Waltz thing, considering their silence for the last 3 years, the idea that this is, I I would not have recommended.
We've already got the walls,
stolen valor,
and the whole thing about his service, and he's like, and you went here, okay.
They go in this direction.
Double down,
I don't
man.
think
That's their
this is
strategy.
a smart move on their behalf.
Chicken, baby.
You are awakening
Drink the
a
bottle of
veterans
vodka and
community
take my
that
hands
is
off the
really
wheel.
pissed
Yep.
about how they've handled
Chuck it out the window.
the military, the lack of silence when it comes to the sacrifice of those individuals in Afghanistan, and their smugness to which they have addressed it. So I think that
It is very smug. Like the video is just like, it's all about me, and my glory, and like check out me. I'm badass. Like no, you're not badass.
Why
the
are you even on
military is
it?
badass. People that do things are badass.
You look kind of weak coming out your hair blowing around.
Yeah, you're just like okay.
High heels.
Yeah, you're in some high heels, and some people are opening doors for you.
Yeah, that's badass.
Yeah, and it's like you're walking into.
I mean, a helicopter
Hollywood, premiere.
Sure, right. You just wasted my taxpayer money going on a ride on a helicopter, basically.
I mean, it's a total front. It's as bad as Schumer grilling some cold burgers with some cold cheese on.
She was like, I hated that. I'm never getting on one of those things again. But they have to they have to ride on. That's like Air Force 2 or whatever, right? That's the one the vice president takes.
But yeah, they do have
There's
a
chopper name that's something for Sea Force or
yeah. She's definitely bummed about her hair.
get why if you're on the left,
It's funny for a wig blew off.
Jesus.
You think this is quote badass. I have a feeling that there's a lot of people who have not served that are around her that don't recognize how this might backfire.
Okay, Dan, what do you think?
Best defense is a good offense. I think they know it's a weakness.
Keep pushing it.
It's why at the convention they leaned into her,
smile.
prosecutor days, tough. I think it's good. I think obviously the Afghan withdrawal was one of the low points. It's when Biden's approval started to crater. And I think, you go on offense and look, to state the obvious, her opponent's history when he went into office, other than negotiating, a few marketing deals overseas, he didn't have any military or foreign policy
now he has 4
experience.
years.
And I think, with all due respect to Sean, her opponent also has made a few comments that have been inopportune with the vet.
Trying to pull the suckers and losers thing.
God, dude.
But he's just alluding to it, right? So he doesn't have to
totally,
So I think,
impale
do
himself
the best
on
you
that
can
lie.
and go on offense.
And like I said, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I mean, from a political standpoint, you go on
play
offense
nice.
and try to address your weaknesses. I don't think that they have. This is for 3.5 years. There's been frankly, they have ignored this issue and this community, and suddenly to put out a statement on the 3rd year anniversary and act like somehow this has been a concern of yours.
Just kind of
this is not her thing.
Like her phone calls.
Frankly,
those announcements are so
Sean, I want to ask you a question. I want to remind everybody we're going to get to your questions.
See how Mark got to cut him off right there? Yeah, it's cringy, Mark.
If you haven't been part of the conversation, especially,
I think he let him say it. I mean, it's kind of an interesting.
He's trying to move the show along.
It's the
morning meeting's only a half hour, and they try to get callers in. So
it's an opinion. Do you think it's good or bad? There's really no answer to this. Yeah. I mean, depends on who watched it. Obviously, is it good or bad? If you're a Kamala, you're like, because I don't think like the Democrats who love Kamala and most of them in general, and some Republicans at this point really care.
Oh, they don't care at all.
But their whole idea is, yes, that looks good, and it'll help her win.
Yeah.
And there's some
so
people
they think
say
it's badass.
Trump.
She's like, oh, look at this badass woman with the badass music playing, getting on the chopper. She's a boss.
She didn't fail.
But
this will be good for her.
Those people are already in the bag for them, right? So who cares what they really think? I mean, if this thing was to actually try to bring some people over on our side or speak to the military at all, I don't think
it probably speaks to a lot of the military. There's a lot of, you understand, a lot of the military has been changed over the last few years. There's quite a few people in there with the, there's a big DEI thing. They're big into the LGBT thing. So, like, I think COVID got a lot of people out of the military, and then they replaced them. And, you had to be part of that kind of sect to get in there. So there's a lot of that at the top, right? I mean, you listen to who's that big jughead guy? Chief of Staff or whatever. Not Chief of Staff. Chief of Joint Chiefs or whatever. You know what I'm talking about? The big...
Not McGregor.
No, McGregor I don't think he's even in the military anymore.
I mean, not anymore, but he was.
The guy who was the head, I can't remember. He went to high school with Rachel Levine. I can't remember.
The only one I remember is Petraeus is from around here.
He's long out.
McManus or...
it's the guy that was just in. I think he just retired. Anyway, it doesn't matter, man. I mean, he was all about, like, even when he was talking to Congress, he was all like, yeah, this gay stuff's good. We need more drag queens. If people are into it, we're going to allow them to do it. And, honestly, dude, if they're adults and I just thought it was like other jobs where you shouldn't link, your home proclivities with your job, right? I mean, that's always been like ever since social media came out, that was kind of like the idea most companies had, like, don't mention us in it, you know, and you can't get fired kind of thing. But now they like show guys in their military uniform wearing like dog masks and shit, like in another picture, and you're like, well, I didn't need to see that. I mean, really didn't want to see it, and you know,
but you know, but you know, that's
fake.
That's what Harris is throwing out there as badass. You know what I mean? And that's how she's going to be our protector in chief.
She will. She'll protect.
She's going to keep the you know.
She's going to wave at everybody,
and you know, and just with joy and twerking. That's our defense mechanism. We're going to pull up with badass Apache choppers,
pumping some bass,
bringing the party. We're going to have the kicker 12s back there. We're going to have the boxes made up. It's going to be like a truck club.
Kegs on the outside. There's going to be
we're just going to be booming. And it's like, oh, he come to USA. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, dude. We drop in some.
Look out, son. You know, we're just going to twerk up there.
We got like a dessert machine on there, dude. Just like jumping cough medicine on everybody, dude. That sounds like it's going to be like a street party. We're going to fly in. Our tanks will start doing like donuts in the middle of an intersection.
Yeah, that'll scare the crap out of the Taliban.
They'll be like, what the hell? What's happened to the neighborhood, dude? What's going on?
Those guys will be like, really? This is what America's all about now?
They'll be like, wow, donuts in the street,
huh? Bunch of sissies. Well, it's time to fucking take these.
Rat-a-tat-tat.
Yeah. Like, really? This is where you guys are now? So, speaking to the security of the homeland now, moving from abroad. Yeah, exactly. This guy went to the DNC. He's on the Sean Spicer show. I forget his name.
Steve Cortez.
Yeah. So he basically got a migrant to try to get him into the DNC, and like kind of just juxtaposing the fact that, you know, there's a wall supposedly around we don't have a wall around our country. These people can come in without any ID, but to get into the DNC, they have a wall. They have a guarded wall.
How much you think he had to pay him?
And, you know, you have to have credentials to get in there. So
how much you think he had to pay that kid? Because the kid's like, this is awesome. I just got 200 bucks.
I don't know. Probably
it's kind of funny. Is he really a migrant? Or
took him out for, he's a Venezuelan migrant.
Okay.
He's like, talks about there's a hotel that was a big social club in Chicago that they've turned into a migrant hotel that used to be a really expensive, fancy, like,
they did it
place.
In New York,
and exactly the same kind of thing. And you can just roll up there, and there's always some migrants hanging out, drinking, smoking cigarettes out front. And he just probably rolled up. Hey, buddy, you know what you do?
You want to go have fun?
You want to make a little money and go out.
I hope he's over 18. Cortez might get himself in some trouble here, dude. Jeez.
I mean, they probably don't have ID, so maybe you never know.
He's like 16, and Cortez is going to get arrested for trafficking minors. Cortez.
Let's see how it plays out here.
The west side of Chicago, Democratic National Convention at United Center. The Democrats, of course, want open borders and want an endless stream of illegal migrants pouring into the United States. This is my new acquaintance, Edwin. Hello? All right, Edwin is from Venezuela. And we're going to take Edwin into the DNC so that he can meet the Democrats who want his new friends.
Got here on the show or whatever, man. I'm on the YouTubes. Thumbs up.
Edwin can't come in.
They're starting to dawn on him like, what did you do?
Edwin's like, shit.
You're doing it very
I thought I was going to get some food. It's like, come on, Edwin. We're going to
look at all the cops. Defund the police, except not at our convention.
We would like to get some credentials for Edwin. Come on, Edwin. Edwin is from
Do this
Venezuela.
guy. Shit, I'm on a hot one.
So we try to get Edwin into the convention.
This is like his worst nightmare.
I just volunteered, man.
And he's a migrant from Venezuela. Wanted to get to the convention. We figured that they would love to have a migrant from Venezuela come in. They said we need to get credentials, so we're here to get the credentials.
Yeah, should.
So you have to. There's a process in the application. He didn't have that at the border.
Please turn the camera off.
Just to be clear, we have been ejected from the DNC credentialing office.
Is that the guy who ejected him?
Yeah.
We don't have permission.
He's definitely been following him around, whoever this guy is.
Seems like the United States
This lady's definitely
similar
walking him out, too.
rules about crossing the U.S. border. DNC doesn't believe in that, but they do believe.
Moment explained how hypocritical it was.
Right.
And I was like, it was intuitive, but you pulled it out of them. You pulled the string, led them to water, if you will. Why did you do this? And how did you meet Edwin? I was like, dude, that was like, did he realize what was going on?
Oh, totally. And by the way, we were totally transparent with Edwin. He knew exactly what we were doing. I speak okay Spanish, but we had a translator there who speaks very good Spanish, so that we made sure he understood exactly what he was doing. Here's where we met Edwin. There's a place called the Standard Club in Chicago, which used to be a very elite private city club, mostly Jewish membership. it closed down during the pandemic, during the COVID crisis. It is now a migrant dorm. It's full of Venezuelans. It's incredible to me, by the way. I mean, it boggles my mind as a former Chicagoan that this former elite private club is now a migrant hotel that we pay for, a migrant dorm that we pay for them to live. So I found Edwin outside there, and I knew there's always migrants there. I come to Chicago a lot, even though I don't live here anymore. They're typically outside most of the time, quite honestly, smoking and drinking, not up to very much good outside of the hotel. And that's where we found Edwin. And got him to come with us then not very far from there to the near west side of Chicago to the United Center. And I wanted to make the point because, of course, I knew he would be refused, and he should be refused, right? He does not have credentials, nor did I, to get in properly, right? But it's okay for the DNC to have rules, to have a border that is heavily guarded with guns, with walls, with rules. That's okay for the DNC, but it's not okay for the United States. So I thought it was important for us to highlight that duplicity and show it to the world. Thankfully, Elon Musk responded a couple times to actually 2 different instances to my video, which really made it go viral, and it has had millions and millions of views. But we need to expose this to the world.
Dude, having Elon, man, is so clutch, man. I mean, just the fact that he's got this huge platform. Like, God, that was money well spent. That was good for because he paid a lot for Twitter, probably a lot more than he should have. They said there was a bunch of bots, and they're like, why is he paying so much for this, and blah blah blah. But he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he was going to pay anything, and he had to go to a certain level because he had to make it to where they had a fiduciary
responsibility to sell it.
Yeah,
because there's too much profit to make for the shareholders. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
dude,
they almost forced it. Yeah,
I think the Democrats kind of use hypocrisy as like a little bit of a weapon. Like they don't really care. Like every now and then, like it's important to show other people who aren't like or maybe on the fence their hypocrisy. I agree. It's very important to show it. But I don't think that you can really attack the Democrats on it because I don't think they care about integrity. Like when you believe you're the savior and you're morally correct on everything, you don't
no, absolutely. I mean,
care what your methods
that's the
are.
whole idea at this point. It's all about power. Yeah. Once you get into that philosophy, that postmodern philosophical stance, that there is no underlying reality. So so lying doesn't matter as long as you win.
Sure.
Especially when the other person can't win. So it's all about power. So you got to insert your ideology, no matter, and there's no really.
They call that politics, but it's just lying.
Yeah,
is what it is.
But that doesn't matter.
Like Sean even said it on that one thing. He's like, as a political move, that was a good move. He's kind of saying, but like as a real human being, it's kind of gross.
No, it is gross. I mean, their whole thing is gross. I mean, they're supposedly the party. They tout this shit as they're the party of democracy.
Yeah.
But their whole tactic with Kamala is to not talk to the media. And everybody's saying don't do interviews like they're cheering it on like we don't want to know your policy.
Don't tell America your
hide
policy.
from America as much as you can. Just win, baby, win.
Because the gravy train, like the people on her side, the gravy train continues.
It's Al Davis,
right?
win, baby, win.
Yeah, and so you just keep rolling. I mean, like you got to figure that most of the people that are in the bubble that like those elites that love her and who basically are going to vote for her now, along with the young people who are insane, they don't really their lives aren't going to be really affected. I mean, anyway, and I think honestly, if you work for the government, you kind of want a Democrat in there because I don't think they're quite the sticklers on the working type situation. I think things get really easy when the Democrats are in office. I mean, if it flows down from the top, they don't work too hard. I think when Trump's in office, he makes people work. I honestly do. I think they were kind of like taken aback when he was like, "No, I want an answer like tomorrow," and they were like, "Dude, we actually
have to do some work over here.
We got a committee. We got to form or something first, dude." But yeah, you know what I'm saying. I just don't. I think like for the most people in the media who are like, we love Kamala. She's going to be great. We don't care what she stands for. We don't care for any of it because they kind of know. I mean, they know. Like if you're in the know and you're working,
of course you know. Just like with Biden, they knew he was freaking infirm. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, come on.
They know their globalist policies, and they're all for him for some reason.
At this point, it's just blatant. Like all they have to do is demonize Trump. Say like this doesn't matter because this is so much worse.
Sure,
what could be is so much worse. This guy's a fascist. He's going to take over the United States. He's going to implement Project 2025. He's going to deport all the gays and everybody. It's going to be a white nationalist fucking Holocaust. You know what I mean? Like, so this is the picture that they have successfully painted. Sure. You know what I mean? In a lot of people's minds. So if that's the alternative, lying. It's all on the table.
Right, but what they think they're going to get, now they'll never vocalize this, but I think in their minds, if they know that they know
why the media on their side?
Yeah, no, because it's not going to affect them, but because they're elitist and they think that it's going to be like the WEF and all the poor people are going to die and there's resources are going to get saved and life's going to be a lot easier for those who deserve
the Democrats
to
are the status quo, right? They're going to, they're going to. Look, we talked about this kind of with some of the ideas we've been talking about, but the parties have flip-flopped now, right? They are the establishment. The Democrat Party is the establishment party. Now the new Trump Republican Party, which is different from the old Republican Party that was more entrenched, more conservative. They were the Mitt Romneys. They're the people that own Bain Capital and these big capital funds. Not saying Trump's not rich, but he's a self-made kind of, it's different, you know what I mean, than the old money kind of stuff. This is a wrecking ball to the establishment that they, and it's going to shake up all their lives and all their situations. And things are going good for them. Just look, they can say the economy's going great because the stock market is doing great. But that doesn't. But then people can't afford the groceries at the store.
Right. So the stock guys are doing great.
Completely two different economies.
But you were saying earlier, that these people are cheering her on, not wanting her to say anything. And I was just trying to get to the point of why that they don't care that she doesn't speak, because they know the policies and deep down they know that they're not going to affect them. In reality, if they know that she's going to be following globalist policies, they know that they want to wipe out 80% of the population.
That may be a thing. You know what I mean?
Yuval have already said
I mean, you could go that far. I don't even think you need to go that far. All you can say is, look, I want to keep my freaking job.
Sure.
Things are going good for me right now.
Short term, right.
Some people may think about wiping out the population. You know what I mean? That's kind of extreme, right? But your Dana Bash, you know what I'm saying?
I got you.
You know what I mean? Is doing just fine, right? You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I think that's what is on their minds.
But the networks did better under Trump, which is funny. Because
they realized, that hating on Trump got them a lot of clicks, right? So
sure.
That's when everything became siloed at that point, right? It was I've heard talk about the media, the whole way it was designed before, the early CNN was, okay, we need to reach the widest audience that we can. And, but now with the internet, and then they just put out kind of all the news, and they wanted the right and the left. But then they realized with the internet, everybody became siloed and ghettofied in their policies and their politics. So, hey, we're going to cater to, we're going to cater to this group. We're going to cater to this group, and a lot of them cater to the left.
And their masters want us divided too. I'm not saying that Dana Bash gives a shit whether or not we're divided or not. She probably would like everybody to be together. But the truth is, the people at the top would like to see most of the country split.
Right. It seems to work well for them. They definitely want to create this two-party illusion. But I really think before there was almost a uniparty type situation happening, and the right was because the seemed to win. Everything always moved more left. All the politics of today would be extreme. If you go back, even Obama was against gay marriage.
Sure.
That's what I'm trying. How far left things continuously go. Yeah. Even if the Republicans win, it doesn't matter. It still seems to move left. It might stem the tide a little bit. They have little concessions that they give.
Sure.
But the tide is still moving to the left.
It's been moving that way since, it almost takes.
But now we have Trump, right? That, threat possibly could disturb all these organizations, all these departments of the cathedral. If he takes apart because the government is, it's not this one thing. It's it's the CIA and the FBI and the, and the FDA and all these departments kind of working in unison to create this
education,
this conglomerate, man.
And it's all underneath the left rule, pretty much. Now they were really smart about that. They've pretty much worked them into, I'm sure there's both sides, but if you think about it, if you have a boss or a director who's more liberal and, rides his bike to work and does blah, 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 just as a liberal guy, you're probably going to get more people that stay around for longer periods of time that are liberal because, it's good to see eye to eye with your boss. And maybe if you don't, you might go looking for another position somewhere else with a boss who aligns with you a little bit more, right? Mm-hmm. We all want to be somewhat happy at work, right? So, if you're going to work with a bunch of screaming liberals all day long, you're probably not the happiest person if you're conservative.
Right, yeah, no one wants
that. You just got
to
to bite your tongue, right? You know what I'm saying?
But I don't know, they seem to support that. But so This is Tim Dillon on like the Joy, right? So this is Kamala's got is running on the Joy.
That's her big platform.
And let's forget about just kind of what we were talking about. That she doesn't need to answer the questions. It's really what's going to win the Joy. I even saw an interview with Quentin Tarantino talking to Bill Maher, and he's just basically like, just win and just don't do any interviews, like. To think that that's what's good for the country, right? Disgusting.
Well, he thinks he's smarter and knows more than everybody else.
But he is just what we're talking about. Rich. And I think what you're talking about, I don't think everybody is the mastermind of like, I want to limit the human population
Absolutely
on the planet.
Not. No.
But they are the elite rich that have luxury beliefs, and they can hold these type of beliefs, and the world works for them in this paradigm as it is.
But my point is,
money.
I don't think if they really maybe they don't ever go that deep in thought, but I don't think that they really think that they're going to be able to Kamala Harris is going to take everybody out of poverty, and everybody that there's not going to have to be some broken eggs to make the omelet is what I'm saying.
No, I don't think they give a fuck about any of that stuff. They just want to continue. They don't want to maintain their lifestyle.
Yeah,
and their attitude, their virtue, in their mind of their construct. You know what I mean? Of we are caring liberal people, even though they would run a fucking bum over on the side of the road that got in the way of their Mercedes.
So it just makes their dealing with life easier.
It makes they virtue signal to themselves and their friends and their social group that we're all caring people.
Okay.
They're super rich. They donate to these people. That is their charity, right? And so that makes them feel good. So they're like, I gave, so they can justify in their mind that they're good people,
right?
Even though they're totally loving, just narcissists, right? You know what I mean? That it's really all about
what I
them.
think. Yeah, that's absolutely what I think. Okay, cool. Yeah. So we're on the same page with that. I definitely think.
Yeah, I just don't think they get that. It's not.
Well, I don't think they plan it out.
When we go full Alex Jones, and I'm not saying, hey, there's not something.
There's
happening
somebody at the top saying
with that, because that is the end result of a lot of these policies. It seems to be is some kind of human population decline. But I think the average Hollywood jerk off is just like
no. I don't think that they
or Dana Bash
or even subscribe to it at all. I don't even think they know or care, because that would actually rupture their idea of beliefs that they're charitable and beautiful. They want to say, they think that these people really want to save everybody, when in actuality they have a different plan for the future.
Right. All right, so let's talk about some joy here.
I was looking up something the other day, because I was trying, me and my brother were talking about it. I was like, is there any really funny gay comedians you can think of? And funny enough, because he doesn't really talk a lot about being gay. Yeah, just his gay penis cactus. But I went through a bunch of lists. Like, my brother looked it up, and he was like reading all these names off. I was like, I haven't heard of him. And then I was like, wait a minute, Tim Dillon's not on that list? No, he wasn't anywhere on the top 25 LGBT. He's like the funniest one out of all of them.
But they probably all hate him because he's
because he doesn't talk.
Yeah.
About, he doesn't
kiss their ass.
He's
not about being gay.
Yeah,
right.
That's it. His whole set's not about
like he said. He's like that gay. It doesn't look sucking a dick. It's not a bad. It's a nice thing to do. It doesn't make you a great person.
No,
you know what I mean. Like, I think that's hilarious.
And Pelosi, Cy Hirsch, a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, has written that Biden actually did what Trump was doing. All the Democrats were like, Trump didn't want to give up power, and Trump certainly was saying, like, I think the election's fucked up, I don't want to leave. Biden was doing the same thing. Biden was going, fuck it, I don't want to leave, I'm the president. And they go, you're mentally enfeebled. And he's going, fuck you, I'm not going anywhere. They had to threaten him with the 25th Amendment to get him out. Now, because they can't have that, Bill Clinton has to come out and go, listen, he voluntarily gave up political power. Which is
that was Clinton's job, right? Yeah.
George Washington knew that, and he did it. And he set the standard for us serving 2 terms before.
He's just like George Washington.
God, he is on hell's door.
It helped his legacy.
He's on hell's door.
And it will enhance Joe Biden's legacy.
Yeah, his voice sounds super weak.
Phenomenal. Bill Clinton.
Do you think he did any drugs before he went out there?
I'm amazed. I'm impressed.
I don't know. Sure.
I'm scared. I get scared when people are able to. The thing about this stage of our declining empire, what tends to scare me the most is competence. It's actually quite frightening because it's in such short supply and so rare that when you see a group of people that is this competent and they have an ability to manufacture this narrative, it's a little disturbing. You almost got to give it to them. You almost go, well, hey, I mean, think of all the crazy people that you know They put them all in one room and got them on the same page. And that is tough to do. The Republicans are fighting. There's a little infighting. They're kind of blaming each other. They're coming out on X going, hey, this isn't good. So there's Hillary. Hillary looks better than she ever has.
Those bloodbaths are really doing it.
They're getting this is the good stuff because she looks good.
They're getting the good stuff.
And they're probably ahead. I think the polls are closer than people think. I think they're probably definitely ahead. The polls are closer than people think, but it's because they've been able to do, look, they quieted Emhoff's daughter down. She wants to be out in the street screaming about the Palestinian kids that they're barbecuing
driving a truck,
right
it looks
now.
Like she got to see her driving a semi.
To do that. Look at her. You think she wants to be in there? She don't want to be in there. She wants to be out on the street screaming and yelling about the Palestinian
if that hat was on backwards.
Cookout that Israel has.
Palestinian cookout.
No, that's horrible.
The problem is they tell her, they go, now you sit here
and
you fall in line.
How they brought everybody in line, though. They really did. Like just from Biden on down, how they just whipped everybody in shape. Like, all right, I know all you people wanted to be in the primary, and you guys were felt like you were next up to bat, and like you've gotten more votes, but Kamala is it, and you better fucking like it. You know what I mean?
Or you're out.
Yeah, and
it's like, are you in or you're out?
You better cheer your fucking asses off.
But like Emhoff's daughter, if you put her hat on backwards and kind of like put it up tall, and she had like that hair shaved underneath, she looks, and put her on a BMX bike. She looks like a Floridian cruising around the trailer park, doesn't she? Like that one dude who's like too old and too big for his BMX bike, but he's still like rolling. He's like shaking dimes or something.
So you always think it's stolen because it's like you're a child's bike.
She looks like damn.
She's that's a style.
She's a look.
This is a great
example
of falling
saying what you fucker
in line, and the Republicans haven't lost it yet. They can still get it back, but they're going to have to enforce some type of conformity. Trump should be out there throwing the party. We're the moderates. We're the ones. This is what I would do if I were him. It's hard to do. You have a hostile media, but you got to go out and
turn the joy around.
I'm going to bring you guys money. Remember the money?
People think we're nuts, and that's okay. But the platform's
definitely the framing is, look, we're not in a state of joy right now. We got a lot of issues, but we can get there.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. And through being healthier and a safer country and the immigration, and we got to get our inflation under control and our economy under control. Then we can be a joyful America.
And let's remember, Kamala Harris.
Fake joy. Let's not have fake joy. Let's have real joy.
Well, she's in office now. Why don't we have joy now? That would be my first question. I'd be like, look, if she's going to bring you joy, ask her why the joy's not here now.
But
she's in charge now.
It's incredible how
she's literally running against. They pretend they're running against like a incumbent Republican.
No, they painted themselves as the opposing party, and that Trump's the incumbent.
Yeah, that's what they exactly. They're running against like him 4 years ago.
They're the outsider party. No, you're not anymore.
You fucked the dog. You screwed the pooch for fucking 3.5 years, dude. Yeah, I mean, and they're people like ignore that shit.
But somehow they're just some voodoo, man. Like you bring up any of these things to people, and they just look at you like, "What are you talking about? Trump's he's the grumpy old man."
Yeah, you're like, but wait, do you remember your paycheck? Or maybe they work for the government.
More, it's like facts don't matter at all. It's all about the story. It's all about the narrative.
Yeah, and
it's all about what story you want to believe. And
dude, she's the first woman president. I'm like, you know what? They had women prime ministers in England. This isn't that remarkable of a thing. And dude, there's a lot of women that'd be great at it.
Well, yeah, don't you want a good one for the first one? Like,
you got. Look what happened with the first black president. That didn't go so well.
Moderate platform. We don't want to ban abortion. We don't hate all gay people. But then, they also have the far right that will not allow them to do that, because the minute that he does that, the far right will do what the far left used to do. The far left used to ruin any Democrat chance at victory by throwing a fit and causing a fight.
Okay, yeah, kind of doing it now a little bit.
So now you have a very similar thing happening with the far right, and you have this war happening where Trump needs to come out as the fun candidate, and
Trump has kind of quieted the far right, though.
But that is the hope, because
that's why I gave him JD Vance.
The American people
he's the Antichrist to them.
Yeah.
They think he's.
It's not what they're craving.
Revelation, Antichrist material.
Like we might go, why not? People should care. Yeah, great, fine. They don't care. Kamala Harris is going to be the president of joy. That's the plan.
Joyland.
Joy. That's the plan. You know what I mean? I mean, that's
Everybody
fully
gets,
the plan here.
Disney
is joy.
tickets. If you vote for it, you get 4
a few
tickets.
scenes from Gaza. Let's talk about the joy.
See some pictures of some joy.
I'm just curious. The president of joy.
There's your joy.
Yeah, that looks like. I guess
This
you're Israel.
seems less joyful than I would have imagined.
Yeah, they bombed the shit out
Right.
of that place. Look at that shit.
But again, they've done a great
And
job.
who's ever going to clean it up? They don't have
We're
people
gonna
to
be the
clean that
president
shit
of joy.
up.
They probably blew
Get
up
up
the
San
bulldozers.
Francisco, by the way, where Kamala Harris is from. Get up California. Get up San Francisco. Right now, don't let Google show you the sailboat or whatever. Let's see the reality of what it is. Let's see the actual reality of San Francisco.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
let's just show a picture of the joy. This is the joy. This is the joy.
you know what you would expect?
This is the joy.
Her at least
This is the joy.
to speak out that this is
This
bad.
is the joy.
And
Yeah.
be like, I'm going to fix
These are
this.
She hasn't even
examples of the
acknowledged
joy.
it.
No,
People
it's like,
shitting on the street.
I'm not there
People
anymore.
are
Not
dying
my
of
fault.
fentanyl overdoses in a tent. They're dying on your property.
But they don't
People are
think this
committing
is bad.
Suicide in mass.
Soros
That is
doesn't
the
think
joy.
this is bad.
This is my
Well,
argument
we're
with every
funding
one of them that
multiple
bring
wars
up
all over
January
the
6th
world.
every time and how terrible it's
That
like.
is
I
the
don't
joy.
understand how you could vote for Trump
Our own streets
after
are
January 6th. I'm like, I don't understand how you could vote for her after
with
this.
people that
Yeah.
are
And this is
committing
what this
crime.
wasn't just for a couple hours. This is still happening. This has been happening for years.
The thing
You know
is,
what I mean?
okay, like what's
So
the
much worse,
alternative?
man.
You don't let people do this. You lock them up when they're doing stuff wrong. I think honestly,
at least
it's
maybe
more compassionate.
Get some campgrounds or just
No,
find a place. I
no.
mean, I don't know, but you can't have them here in the public.
But here's the thing.
Fucking square.
We
man.
didn't always let this happen, right? And as soon as Joe got in, it got worse. And it's gotten worse since like Gavin Newsom's been in California because
Right.
they don't get rid of him, right?
Yeah.
So what you end up is people doing this for much longer than they would if you cleaned up these type of things. And some of them went to jail, and some of them just left.
I
Because,
mean, there's no reason.
wait, let me
I
finish.
don't
what
think
I'm
people
saying.
should go to jail.
No,
for,
I mean, if you break the law, you're shooting drugs in the street. I mean, I think we should put them in like rehab. But my point is, this is not helping anybody. What's helping people? There is a percentage of those people who go to jail stop doing drugs.
Right.
It's small, and there's a small percentage that go to rehab. Dude, I think all the money should be spent on rehab, 100%. And honestly,
no, there's some people that aren't going to want to clean up. They don't.
no,
they want to do
no.
drugs and they want to live in the
But you
street.
got to force them to it. At least they got to deal with it.
Before, at least they had to like. They weren't. It wasn't an open season. Like this is you're promoting
This
this
is
shit.
years of misery till you die, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a
and
better
they're,
chance.
and they're taking over the public area, right? That people are trying. This is the
Right.
courthouse
Yeah,
and all this shit.
attacking
Like,
kids and
this can't happen here.
pissing all over the
I
place.
honestly think there's some people that don't want to live in society. They're never going to want to live in society.
Sure.
Honestly, make a fucking campground for their ass and let them all live there. Now they're going to have to live within their own squallery means. And they get whatever. We'll do some things for them, but honestly, I mean, I really don't know what else to say. You know what I mean? Because
No,
either
it's like
they're going to be
Slab
back
City, dude.
on the street,
Sure.
or they're gonna or they're gonna be in jail, and then we pay a bunch of money to house them in jail too. Basically, like it'd be the camp would be like jail, it'd just be outside, and then they
We could fence it in a little bit. Fence it in a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
I think you would.
I'm like, if you want to live this kind of lifestyle, go for it, but you can't be part of society because you're
dangerous.
We can't have this.
Yeah, and I mean, look, it's not even like it's the
If
danger.
you want help, we can give that to you.
Sure, that's your
You know what I mean?
options.
But if you do not want the help,
Yeah.
you want to live like this, you're gonna have to go live with
You
other
gotta
people
go to
that want
Slab
to live
City.
like this.
Exactly. You got to go live with all
And
these other
you
people.
can all live together like this.
And that's your choice. I mean, it's an awesome choice.
Yeah, but you can't be here.
Or you can go to rehab, and you can go to rehab over and over. Look, we'll be like, you'll be the the prodigal son. No matter how many times you fail, we'll put you back in rehab because, like, at some point, if it can be done like without huge amounts of corruption, like every one of our big, government agency is. But if we were putting people into rehab and we like got to the point where we're really trying to fix the people in our country, 'cause there's a lot of fucked up people on
Right.
drugs in the country, we would get it down to somewhat of a science. I mean, if we really cared about it and we got doctors in there, we paid people good money, and we could make it to where it was like, okay, you're back, but you can't use drugs while you're here.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
any day that they were there not using drugs would be a good day for them, right?
Right,
They're going
right.
to live a little longer.
Yeah.
So even if they only stay there for 4 days.
There has to be some breakthroughs to help.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, man. Maybe fucking give them all Wegovy. What's the Ozempic? Supposedly that stuff's like
Kachava.
but supposedly Ozempic takes cravings away
Does it
and stuff,
really?
and it's not just food. Honestly, people
Yeah.
have reported drugs and alcohol too. It curbs your desire. There's triggers in your brain
Sure,
that want
sure,
those
sure.
dopamine hits
Yeah.
from food or drugs. and it helps curb that. So Ozempic might be the cure for homelessness.
Let's try a lot of shit.
I don't know, but this is the joy
that's coming. This is the joy.
This is
California.
The fact that
the average price of a home in California is what, 900 or something crazy?
It was like, but it fits with most people's mentality because they will walk right over. They'll step right over one of these homeless people and just continue on like everything's cool.
Oh yeah. Well, they got bigger.
Median home in
they
LA
got bigger
is 1.2
things.
mil.
They can't stop here and fix this guy.
The average home is 967.
It'll stop them from getting to the bigger level.
Yeah, 1.2 million just
happy, joy. That's what it is. The super rich.
But it's like make believe land out there, right?
Everybody else.
Like you're rich, you live on the coast.
I guess, but there's still some real people.
It's coming soon to a theater near you.
Yeah, mostly,
that's what.
If you're on the left side of the 5,
that's the policy. That's
everything's
what it
good.
is. So
if you're on the right side of the 5, you work for the people on the left side of the 5.
You cannot prevent yourself from getting in an accident.
Morgan.
And if you're further in, then you just are a hobo. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how. Like, I just don't understand how that's humane. You've been around. I mean, we've all seen bums. I work at a I don't even want to talk about it, but I see people that are meth addicted, and it's no fucking party, dude. These people are not living a quality life, dude. They're miserable all the time. They're fucking like 2 shakes away from being incoherent most of the time. Like they can't even like they try to lie to you, and they're not even like sane, and that's not humane. They don't really want to be there. They just got themselves in a bad situation and can't get out of it.
Right.
Like I don't feel like most drug addicts are like. I mean, they have to have moments when they're like, okay, I this sucks, especially when they can't find drugs. But you know what I mean. So like, I think, I don't like the idea of just letting people do what they want to do, and they're going to figure it out. And this laissez-faire approach to like homelessness and drug addiction is going to work because there's way more underlying issues in that. You're not going to fix this shit just by letting them live on the street. They're going to die on the street.
They tried it and it didn't work. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
bullshit.
we've already had this experiment and it's not working. Yeah. But, you know, the fact that Kamala just completely distanced herself from that wasn't her. She had nothing to do with that. You know, it's about the joy. But we look back at what she has done. You know, that's why she doesn't want to talk about any of the things she's done because she's trying to they're trying to rewrite history completely.
Well, she's
the media actually has been doing that, like incredibly. Like they've just cast this spell over everybody that she's
they don't mind
other different person and we can't hold her and they say, oh well, everybody can change. There's always an answer, right? Like the way that they can disconnect her from a lifetime of what she's done, but now she's a changed person. Now she's unburdened by Biden's you know what I mean, lording over her, you know what I mean. Now
by what she did last year,
she's gonna right but but now she's gonna be a free one. She's gonna be able to take charge and it's just gonna be all joy.
Biden had held her down with his bad policies and she was just being a good underling and following.
It's not her fault. Like
no. Versus to what because they were attacking Biden for a long time. The right was about that. But to be able to this is something you said a year and a half ago, dude.
Yeah,
your mind doesn't change that.
No, it's total crap. You know what I mean? So we all know that.
And you said it with conviction. Like you were like,
she said it plenty of times. Just like,
we're taking your guns
away.
Like
she said with the Afghanistan thing, like I don't, it doesn't bother me. It's I'm behind it. Taking the guns. She was okay with the riots. And everything. Basically, just I don't know how that sounds.
Somebody who
but
feels the way we
told
do.
them to keep doing it. Yeah.
Somebody feels the way we do too. Obviously, is the elephant in the room. Of course, Mr. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. obviously feels that Kamala won't make a good president.
Yeah, no, and he's come over to the Trump side of town
to stop her.
Yeah. It's a pretty incredible break thing that happened this week.
Pretty groundbreaking, right?
Honestly, it boggles my mind that this just tells me one more reason why the media is just so he talks about how they've silenced him the entire time. They've treated him terribly, absolutely no coverage, and just shit all over him. And
gave his uncle and father to the Democratic Party.
They've done everything to shut this guy up and lawsuits and you name it, and try to dig up the dumbest shit on him. You know what I mean? Oh, you hit a bear one time or whatever. Ooh, what a weirdo.
Ate a dog.
Yeah.
Like
what?
Yeah. I mean, he's admitted to being like a heroin addict for years. It's like, I think the guy's come pretty clean about his life, much more than I think anybody that I've ever seen run for president come clean. I mean, he's literally like,
he's a super intelligent guy and he's really passionate about what he believes in. And here, this is awesome that Trump has, they found common ground and Trump is everybody tries to paint Trump as like, this guy's such a pighead. He won't listen to anybody. He just does whatever he wants to do.
Sure.
Blah blah blah.
Sure.
Look at it. And we'll just watch this clip right now. He steps aside, lets RFK take the mic. He's bringing him in. I mean, he's like, look, I didn't really. You're always a Democrat to me. I didn't believe in everything you believe, but I have an open mind. And now that you're speaking your position, like, wow, I'm behind it.
I tell you what, I mean, you hear every single president in the last 30 years say, I'm here, the president for the whole United States, not just Democrats. I want to bring the country together. I want to reach across the aisle and get with the other party, and we're going to make things happen. And they never do it. Trump's literally doing it right now. I mean, he's literally like, okay, like, if this is that important to you, maybe I should listen to it.
Yeah.
And if this is something you want to do in my administration, then we can work on it because I like the idea. I mean, I got other shit to work on, but yeah, we can do two things at once, kind of.
Yeah. That doesn't tell you something that, he's been able to open up with RFK coming in. I mean, who would have thought that? Like, this is the quintessential Kennedy, man. You know what I mean?
I'd hope
and Trump
for
is
this,
supposedly
dude.
like this ultra right. You know what I mean?
Right.
And here they are together on the stage for about doing what they think is best for America.
Right.
And then Tulsi Gabbard come out, and I thought she was kind of endorsing him already, but came out and officially endorsed him. Another Democrat that was shunned from her party, treated like complete crap. So
the best of their party being shunned for the party because the only one with any gonads. Seriously, she's got bigger gonads than
like the real deal, like Waltz. Man, she actually did serve in the theater, But anyway, it's just amazing to me, like that this isn't getting any play, any traction. Everybody dismisses it. Oh, whatever. He was a wingnut anyway. It's not maybe worth a point. It's not going to matter in the like. It matters, you know what I mean? It matters for so many reasons.
Yeah, it's big.
So much more than the Electoral College or just the numbers game. It matters because somebody is actually trying. If this doesn't tell you that he really wants to better the country somewhat, he's open to other ideas. This isn't just about numbers and polling. Like, yeah, he might get a bump from it. There's also a threat that some of the things that they've said about RFK might bring him down.
Sure,
yeah, hurt him. It's a gamble for sure. I mean, a lot of people they talk about surrogates bringing him on the road, and if he lets RFK go on the road and actually do some campaigning for him,
I think this really softens.
That's a good thing.
Amongst Trump supporters, a lot of them had a problem with his lack of
reaching out to women.
Yeah, that. But most importantly, about the the shot that everybody had to take. There was a lot of talk about, like, when's Trump going to come out and, he's got to say that this thing was not what they, because there's been a lot of evidence that way. Now, RFK is his mouthpiece on that, dude, and it's really going to, I think what you're going to see is a lot of people who are, like, the far right, like Tim Dillon was talking about, that are arguing with people in the middle right because Trump didn't do what they wanted to on that issue. Now they might soften a little bit on Trump, I think.
Yeah,
maybe.
Let's watch what he has to say. It's pretty, I think it's incredible.
I'll stand aside. I'm going to stand aside. But I can only tell you, I've known him a long time. We've been a little bit on the opposite side of the equation, but I will say this.
I mean, you were
He's
younger.
Brilliant. I still think of him as young. He's not that young. I always call him young, but he's not that young. But he is a phenomenal person.
Okay, Trump. All I know is Trump needs to get whoever does Bobby's tanning.
Yeah.
He needs to hire that guy because tan looks way better.
Trump, he's got to stick with the orange.
Or he just got one day he just had a bad tan and it was just like got turned orange. He's like, I guess this is my thing now.
This is my look. Yeah.
Oh, good. That's pretty awesome.
He's got a Groupon.
Billionaire, but I got to use the Groupon. That cheap.
Look at that. He ain't heard that in a while. I don't think he really heard that many. It's like, you got to be quiet. I can't talk.
A few hours after the assassination attempt at Butler, I got a call from a safe food advocate named Kelly Means, who's been fighting for many years to try to end the corruption at CDC and FDA and USDA. And these institutions, these regulatory agencies, are actually run by the big food processing companies, the big ag and the chemical companies that they're supposed to regulate. And he said to me that he'd been advising me for many years and on my campaign. And he told me that night that he was also advising President Trump. And he asked if I would talk to President Trump. And I said, of course. And about a few minutes later, I got a call from the president. And we talked. We had a very good talk. And then he invited me to come see him the next day. And I went to Minneapolis and saw him.
Voice is getting better.
Again,
yeah, he got some work done. I think it helped it out a lot.
And we talked about, not about the things that separate.
Sorry, Trump, I'm not meeting you at McDonald's, though. We're not can't eat that shit, buddy.
Us because we don't agree on everything, but on the values and the issues.
On the value meals.
That bind us together.
You know what they need, dude? Give me a
that he
pause real
talked
quick.
about-
They need an 80s style workout montage with RFK, like he'd be like Rocky,
right? Because he's jacked.
He's going to be Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
And he'll be Rocky.
Right.
He's going to be running up and down the beach.
Like that.
Yeah, they took him to L.A. and stuff. He's gonna
Trump would look good with a headband.
He would.
And
they need a
headband
montage.
and a sleeveless ripped shirt.
The tiger. It's the yeah, just going off, dude. That'd be sweet.
It's the eye of the tiger. Thrill of the fight.
It's the best eye.
The chemicals out of our food.
Yeah. It's got a big share.
So huge.
And don't you want the regulatory agencies to be free from corporate corruption?
No, just keep eating your Big Mac and enjoy, man.
Yeah,
you know,
dude. Joy, dude. See, we're going to dance it up.
We're going to get that value meal and
you're not going to
have
live
a Coke
that
and a smile and fucking enjoy.
Maybe that's what she's saying. You're not going to live long. So just have some fun while you're here.
We got legal marijuana. We got all this. Just enjoy it up.
He also told me that he wanted to end the grip of the neocons on U.S. foreign policy.
Yep, and the forever war stuff too.
Fuck yeah.
He said he didn't want any more $200 billion wars in Ukraine, that we could use that money back here in the United States.
See, Trump doesn't message like this, though. It's so much more. When Bobby says it, it's like, it's clearer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay.
The best way to
build
a safe America is to rebuild our industrial base and rebuild the middle class in this country. And don't you want a president who's going to get us out of the wars and who's going to rebuild the middle class in this country?
Look at Trump. He's like, that's me, dude.
That's me, baby.
Yeah, he's talking about me.
Tremendous.
Right? Yeah, look at that. He's talking about me.
That's it.
Yeah.
The Donald.
I'm the Don. I'm going to get it done.
He told me that he wanted to end the censorship because the whole basis of American democracy is the free flow of information. And
I said, way.
we know that a government that can silence its opponents has license for any kind of atrocity. And can you think of any time that you can look back in history and say that the people who were censoring were the good guys?
Nope.
They're always the bad guys.
Yeah.
Because it's always the first step down that slippery slope to totalitarianism.
Bobby's on fire.
Yeah, he is.
And don't you want a president who's going to protect America's freedoms?
You waited too long, Bob.
Got to pause for a round of applause there.
Yeah, he's going to get it.
He's about to punch it down.
Yeah, he was. Look at Trump.
And who is going to protect
women?
Don't you want to know that the food that you're feeding them is not filled with chemicals that are going to give them cancer and chronic disease?
Yeah, that guy back there, he's like, I wanted to hear.
And don't you want a president that's going to make America healthy again?
Yeah.
Make America healthy again, dude. I like it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you know what? It's great because it's like the government is huge, and you can do more than one thing at once, you know. And he's the guy to do it. I guess there's pushback from what I understand is he could be like the head of the CDC, but to get confirmed, he thinks that the people the pundits I've heard talk about it think that like even the Republicans are in the pockets of big pharma, so they're not going to flip. There's no way they're going to confirm him for that. But I don't think he needs a confirmation for the head of the CIA or something like that, which would be interesting. Like, what goes down if he becomes the head of the CIA?
There's some sort of cabinet positions that they can give him. I think that, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to see him like in.
I don't know. Yeah. I think Trump's just got such a hold on the Republican Party at this point. It's like either, and we've seen it, you know, like yeah, there's people that are like, hell no, I don't want this at all.
Right.
But they're going to lose their jobs. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
sure.
Yeah,
but most of them I think, are okay with it. If you think about it right now, and our boy Mulbug talk about this, that like a lot of the people that are currently working in the government are just trying to get as much as they can and get out before.
Yeah. Well, bye.
They know it's
Yeah.
the shit's hitting the fan. They can feel it. There's that feeling like, okay, this isn't gonna last forever.
Yeah.
And they're trying to like, get out as early as possible. Whereas in like, I mean, dude, this is quite a coalition. You get a couple more people on the side. You got some people who know what they're talking about, and they have some beliefs. Now, I mean, getting like pharma out of our government and the deep state, like that's going to be tough. I don't know how they're going to do it. That's a pretty.
I don't know. There's a lot of tough challenges, but it seems like this is the only one that's actually stepping up and talking about it, not just talking about joy and twerking. And,
yeah. Don't worry about that shit.
Everything
we got
else,
it.
I mean, man, I don't know. As we wrap up this show, Joe, I just, I guess we kind of highlighted the safety aspect tonight, and will Kamala be a commander in chief? Does she even have any?
No, she's not expected to be though. And
yeah,
that.
and but everybody's just going to ignore all that, and we're just going to twerk and enjoy.
She's going to be a figurehead who goes out and twerks, and Blinken and all the other people that are actually running.
Hopefully, people
Jake
can see
Sullivan.
some of this. See Tulsi coming over to Trump's, with Trump. See RFK right here. Listen to this message, because I mean, this message is like my sister in Oregon, total liberal, but I mean, this is probably her biggest point right here. The biggest issue right here is food safety, vaccinations, and just chronic disease,
there's so
pesticides
much
in our food, and it is huge because. How can you be joyful when you're sick all the time, man? And America is sick in so many different ways, but
most of the European countries can't eat our food. It's not legal in a lot of it. Mexico doesn't want our corn anymore. I mean, maybe that's why we give so much stuff to UNICEF. They're the only people who take it.
Yeah, that's out, man. So, that made me so happy. This made me so happy. It's really, to me, this was a huge turning point. I don't know how it translates in the polls or how this gets more votes or maybe some percentages in some swing states. I don't know. Honestly, I care, but I don't. You know what I mean? Because it's more important than that, even. It
is
to me. So
it's the first time. I mean, you see this type of behavior at primaries all the time when somebody's like, okay, I'm going to throw my support behind you. I'm not going to win. That happens all the time. But you don't see it a whole lot in Third County RFK really is giving up his chance and his ego to do this, which.
Yeah.
It's obvious that he cares more about making people healthy than he does about being president, which is what we need. People that don't care about power. They just want to get there, they just want to be helpful, I suppose. Right?
Yeah, man, I agree, man. But, wow, man, big week. I'm sure we'll see another one next week. This is going to be just one surprise after another. So thanks a lot for being here tonight.
Hey, subscribe too, right?